dream and reality. Some dreams take time to materialize, it's true. Time passes, leaving us at the mercy of expectations that are slow to fade. But why does it happen this way? Do we perhaps lack merit? Why don't we experience the realization of our dreams sooner? Well, if they take so long, maybe there's a good reason for it. Perhaps if they were fulfilled exactly as we wish, we might end up limited or going in circles. Life indeed has this tone of ambiguity. At times it's pleasant and sweet, but at others, it's filled with problems and unforeseen events that, even when overcome, leave a bitter taste lingering in our throats. We find ourselves tied to this carousel of emotions that drags our joy down, regardless of whether we desire this partnership or not. Somehow we begin to perceive an avalanche of ideas and predispositions that unconsciously drag us along, influencing our way of thinking and acting. It's like a vast flow of thought forms that spontaneously reproduce wherever they find reciprocity. This highly contagious electromagnetic wave was termed by Jung as the collective unconscious, a vast chain of unconscious information that acts directly on the human psyche, influencing it positively when it brings ideas that add, sum up, and build, or negatively when it promotes separation, destruction, and chaos. It's the history of the world as we know it. Considering that over millennia human consciousness has often opted for social inequality, where power and fear were fostered, what have we seen? Except for the celestial avatars, there have been few initiatives aimed at interrupting this flow. What remained from this process was, inevitably, a form of puppeteering. There's an Italian fable about the creation of a wooden puppet named Pinocchio, who wanted to become human. We can think of various situations here, that Pinocchio was unhappy with what he was, that he could lie or tell the truth, learn not to be swayed by others, listen more to his conscience. In short, awaken self-control, initiative, autonomy. Perhaps this tale is also a disguised way for God to remind us that we need to break free from the random forms imposed by others and deconstruct ourselves, to then reinstall a more prosperous and satisfactory version. To become capable of self-analysis before giving an opinion or simply making a choice. The truth is that our choices are not always based on what we want, but are often graced by what others want. It's the social issue. Pleasing, 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 even at the expense of evident self-mutilation. Breaking into pieces to please wouldn't be a good idea, would it? A person suffers from the inability to maintain their opinion in an increasingly chaotic world, where information leaks from fragmented hearts, incapable of self-analysis about what they were led to follow to avoid disapproval. And the models of this autocratic thinking continue around the world, sowing wooden forms that don't think about altering their conformation. They want to disinherit consciousness and sink into the world of dreams. These wooden Pinocchios, or super-egos, highlight a total moral and spiritual alienation in humans. They color the mind with shades of immediacy at all costs, without considering a possible plan B. But wouldn't all this also be a form of deconstruction? A somewhat twisted way of breaking the old reality so that a new one can emerge? After all, what do we really know about God's plans? The truth is, we know nothing, or suppose we know. However, the best option will always be the one our heart decides. The one we follow willingly because it does us good. The ego is like that, a type of varnish that attaches to the personality to make it glossy and engaging. A pale excuse forged by the desire to exist. A precious cover sold in life's supermarkets to shelter us from the rain of reality. However, it's necessary to know if it's the ego that's in control of life and blocking the gentle energy of love. It's essential to perceive which directions are being followed to understand what nourishes us, adds to us, and guides our steps. What makes us spend more time thinking? What kind of energy is most present in us? What do we like to do? What kind of dream would we like to become reality? Well, there are so many questions that move us in this life that surely there are more captures of positive energies than negative ones. And we are certain that despite everything that happens, even with all those who remain immersed in chaos, a large number of people have already awakened and understood how to work with the law of flow. They are proposing to listen more to the talking cricket, their conscience, surrendering more to the advice of the fairy, their soul, and seeking better alignment in the frequency of thoughts and emotions to transmute the ego and become increasingly humanized, concerning the story of Pinocchio. It's indeed good that all this is already happening. Ruan, 06/001/2023.